Hi, Dr. Watson.
Hi, Gian. How are you feeling? How are you
Can you
feeling?
hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
How are you feeling?
Okay, but I think it's kind
Right now I have the recording. Well, I guess you just made it to record, but
I just unpaused.
go ahead and get started.
So before I show the technique, I'm going to contextualize the situation instead of moving branches and having to wait for Unity. I'll share my screen to show why would we be using this cherry pick technique. For example, in IVR Green, we have the following scenes: Francis, Rockport, Lehigh Gap, Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton. IVR Yellow, we have Francis, Rockport, Lehigh Gap, Cementon, Walnut Port, Cementon, Thomas Iron, Bethlehem. Currently, it's been quite convenient for us to apply the changes on the scenes that are the same, which is Francis, Rockport, and Lehigh Gap. However, the other ones don't, they are not the same. Although Bethlehem is here in IVR Green and IVR Yellow, the photosphere is different. The photo is different, so it's considered to be another scene. When you open the two scenes together, one scene covers the other scene. When you open one of these blue scenes together in Unity, because they have the same photo in the background, like it doesn't, one scene does not cover the other. It's very convenient. So what Jayan and I needed to do was we realized that IVR1 Green, like in plastic, in our branch of IVR1 Green, we had access to all IVR1 Yellow scenes because I didn't delete them when I branched out at the end of the summer of 2023. And IVR1 Yellow now needs to have access to the scenes of IVR1 Green, but they don't. IVR1 Yellow branch doesn't have the scenes in IVR1 Green. So this is why we kind of attempted the cherry pick a few weeks ago, and it worked. What we did was, first, we duplicated the folder containing the scenes. It doesn't matter if there is a one or like a duplicated name. What's going to happen is like Unity is going to add a plus sign in all the files to say like you are adding this to the project, but it's just temporary. Number 0, actually, it's first step. Create a branch task. We need to create a branch task in plastic so that whatever we are doing is not affecting the original project. So this preparation of what we want to have exported needs to be done outside the working branch. So once we have the task branch, we duplicate the folder containing the scenes, then we check in. So the check-in will be literally the files that we have just duplicated, and that's the only difference that will be for the latest check-in to the previous complete version. Why is this important? Jayan and I learned that the cherry pick procedure can only be done in the latest, like whatever was added to that version. For example, let's say that we have here version 0, then version 1, version 2. And then in version 0, I had A, B. In version 1, I added C, D, and E content. If I am in version 2 from another branch and I want to copy A and B to version 2, this new branch I have here, cherry picking from one is not gonna work because A and B was not checked in here. So we have, if we want to copy from cherry pick to A and B, we have to go in the very node, the circle in plastic, where we first saved that those changes, those new additions. That's why we invented this duplicating the folder or duplicating the files we need, or even creating a folder called export and duplicating the files we need to export and putting into this folder export. Why is that? Because when we check in, we will have a clear node in the task branch we created to cherry pick from. I'm gonna now go to the real case scenario. These past 2 weeks, we noticed that our students in IVR1 Yellow, they are still needing to use and like have access to prefabs or other things from IVR1 Green. So, and something that we don't have also in IVR1 Green is the other 3 or 4 scenes that only exist in yellow. So for the purpose of this tutorial that we are creating, I'm going to duplicate these 4 scenes in IVR4 and I'll cherry pick to green so that we can have access there. So this is IVR1 Yellow repository. IVR1 Green VR lives in there under this repository, so this is the most current change set. And IVR1 Yellow has been fragmented from here, so the students could do their work throughout the semester. So what I want to do is to have the scenes, right? So we have to consider which is the most complete version we have of IVR1 Yellow. Epilogue optimization? No, I'm not going to do yellow dialog, watershed map, tutorial optimization, location optimization. Okay, I guess this is the most complete version we have. I'm not gonna do the duplication from the Mac Silicon task branch because it might create conflicts that we are not expecting. So I'm gonna play it safe and create from here. So first, just like I wrote in that guideline, we need to create a task branch in plastic to prepare the material we want to export. So I'll create a branch. Exporting yellow scenes that do not exist in IVR1 Green. So when I created the branch, I asked Plastic to switch the change set to this version here. So the only thing that we need to do now is to wait for Unity to open this version. I'm gonna pause the video because it's gonna take a while. I'm at home. Okay, just to confirm, my computer, my home computer is in the text export in the yellow working branch. What we are trying to cherry pick are the scenes from yellow that we don't have in green. I'm going to create a task branch in green just to receive this because we actually don't need them, right, in green. And it's always safer to have I unchecked the switch because I don't want to go there. So we create the task to export and we create the task to import in the target branch to avoid breaking or altering the latest structure of the project. So now that my computer is here in the current latest version of Yellow, I am going to go to scenes. Oh, not here. This is Yellow. Scenes. So this scenes green, it was the folder that Jayan and I cherry picked. And since then, the students have started like renaming to not confuse themselves when they are opening two scenes at the same time. But we need to do another thing. We need to do a scenes yellow. So I'm going to select the scenes I don't have in green, which is Cementum. I'm going to select Bethlehem as well because it's different. Thomas Iron and Walnut Port. After I select these files, I'm going to do Control D or Command D in the Mac, and then we duplicate. So all the scenes that have one, they are the copies and they receive this green icon because this is Unity Plastic Control saying this has been added to the project. So what I'm going to do is to be more organized, I'm going to create a folder called Scenes Yellow, and I'm going to move these duplicate scenes there. So basically, when we check in, we need to be checking these 5 files, 1 folder, 4 scenes. And because every file in Unity has a meta file, like a systems file, it's going to list about 10 changes in Plastic. Let's take a look. So look, added in private, 10 items. Why is that? It was 1 folder, the meta file for the folder we created, 4 scenes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and their respective meta files. The project is saying that these scenes are similar. There's no change, which is the case because like we just duplicated, but that doesn't matter. That's what we want. So duplicated scenes from Yellow and saved them in a folder called Yellow. Oops. Scenes. No pending changes. We go to the branch explorer. Now we have a version in the task branch export. And just to confirm, when we click like in the branch itself, the cylinder, not the circle, we can see what I wrote in the comments for this task branch. The task branch is to export the yellow scenes that do not exist in IVR1 green. And now that I checked in, I completed this task branch. I duplicated the scenes from yellow and saved them in a folder called scenes yellow. Now I can come here to the task import. So I'm going to switch the workspace. And I'm ready to cherry pick. Actually, this is a very surgical cherry picking because we isolate first what we want to cherry pick, so to speak. Because cherry picking from a real change set that has been like the latest version of the game can be dangerous. So we prefer to operate like safely. So I'm gonna go back to Unity just to load the version. Now I moved to IVR1 green, the working branch of IVR1 green, and I am in actually the sub branch, the task branch import that I created to receive those files. So now that my computer has updated the version, it doesn't have that folder anymore, scenes green, scenes yellow, and just has the scenes from IVR green, Bethlehem, not Cemento, no, here. So I have scenes green, Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, Rockport. So this is the green version. When we cherry pick, Unity is going to save the files in the same location that they belonged in the original project. So it's likely gonna be here, scenes, and this folder is gonna come, scenes yellow, and the 4 scenes. Let's go there now. So once I'm here in the branch that I want to receive the cherry picking, I will click with the right button in the change set that I need to cherry pick from. And I'm gonna select cherry pick from this change set. So it's showing the same 10 modifications we made. So this is exactly what we need. So I'm cherry picking, I'm confirming that these are the new items that I'm gonna be downloading, and I'll apply changes. It seems it's finished, but it hasn't. The cherry picking process, they grab the files, but they don't save it. They don't check in the new repository, the new branch. They consider it to be like a pending change. So we need to go to pending changes, and then it's telling us like there is one pending merge link. And the description of this merge link is there is a cherry pick from CS 327 that we are bringing 10 items. So completing the import process of yellow scenes that only existed in the yellow working branch. If we go to the branch explorer, now it shows the purple color. We cherry picked those scenes into this one. And if I go to Unity, it's gonna load that folder here, scenes yellow. And if I open them, it should show exactly what the students have been working in yellow. Oh, that's cool. It's not. So in my project, it loads my photosphere. That's interesting, Jayan. Let's go to Cemento. Because I opened Bethlehem, it's the one that is problematic. Cemento here. So now we have Cemento in IVR1. Green. So everything works just like it was working there because we didn't change anything, we just duplicated. Oh, you are here in Cemento. I don't think it's gonna load because in my computer, I don't have that set up to go to the next scene in yellow. So Thomas Viral now. So why did we do that? If it was the case that I needed to have access to these scenes in yellow in the branch that I'm working for the other version, green, this could be helpful because I would be able to open these scenes together with my scenes in the same project. We did this process in this video that we are creating with scenes, but it's possible to be done with whatever type of file in the assets folder. The only recommendation that we make is to be extremely organized and to create a folder that you export and name this folder like meaningfully. For example, here I created the folder in the other branch of the other version, the yellow version called Scenes Yellow. And now that I'm in the target version, I can even change these names here. There's no problem at all. Like, because these scenes are mine now, like in my green branch here. I think that's it, right, Jayan, that we wanted to show him.
Yeah, I think so. Quick question. So the green line. I'm having the question on the green line.
The green line is I merged back my work to the working branch, Green VR.
It was there or we created this?
I created this before this meeting.
Okay. Is that related to our problem
No.
today?
No.
No.
You know why I did this? Because I knew I needed to create a task branch for processing the cherry picking. If I didn't create a task branch, the task branch would be here as a grandchild of another task branch that I had created in the past. So that's not optimal. So since I know that these working panels have been finalized because I have been, Dr. Bodzin even tested that already. So I took the time before this meeting and I merged back to my working branch, which is IVR1 Green.
Mm-hmm.
And after I merged back, I even created a label, current HVR Green. So this is the latest version of HVR Green that exists. And because it's the most complete here, then I created a single task branch to receive the cherry picking.
Mm.
Because let's say, if I really needed to use those files in my project, I would be merging this back into the current branch. But since I don't need them, I will just continue here from this current HVR forward. Of course, I will not continue like on here. If I need to do something else, which I know the next thing is the next iteration, like from the feedback I'm receiving from Dr. Bodzin and the other participants in HVR. They have identified some things. They are not major things. Like it doesn't impede them to play the game from beginning to end. The data collection is working. So for the dissertation, research study purpose, it's fine. But for our purposes of having the full complete version of the game able to be shared in the future, we need to keep track of this feedback that real users give. And whenever the time comes, I'm going to create a branch task here called iteration 2. And then I'll do all the changes that I have been taking notes. And after I test, I'm going to merge it back to this working branch called IVR1 Green VR.
Got it. So we only test on the branch, and once we complete the test and we merge back to the main branch, to keep the main branch won't crash.
Yeah, it can be, it's usually the main branch when the project is small. But for instance, this case of ours, our project has multiple groups working in multiple areas between two different versions. So this is actually a very nice example of how complex a project can become, but it's possible to work without any issues if we know how to use plastic version control. So I don't know if you noticed, but I have been saying that I merge back to my working branch. So my main working branch is IVR1 Green VR. Why is that? Because I am not in my repository IVR1 Green. So my main branch is not here. My main branch for IVR1 Green is in another repository. So I am like kind of living in the repository of IVR1 Yellow, but I am behaving. I'm a very good like tenant. I'm paying my rent. I'm cleaning my house. I'm not giving trouble to anyone. So it's well labeled like IVR1 Green VR, and all the branches like have this kind of comments. So where is that? Here. I'm telling the story of this time I'm living together with IVR1 Yellow. Since this is the repository of IVR1 Yellow, the main branch here should only have IVR1 Yellow, right? Because that's the cloud repository for Yellow. If I merge back to the main, there will be thousands of conflicts because Yellow and Green, although they are from the same game, like the full game, they are literally two different versions. So, and there are some scenes that they overlap. So Unity is gonna get crazy and say like, you have to select only one. And then if you merge back two different versions, you will lose 50% of the work. That's why in this case, I am merging back this green line, merging back to my working branch, not the main branch. But everybody, you and the other students that are on the other groups, they will be, before this semester ends, they will be merging back like to the main branch so that we can have a new complete version just like here. This one is very beautiful in January 9th, 2024. But then since January 9, lots of work has been done. Look at this mess, right? Many groups are working, many groups are providing, updating the project. And whenever they finish and test, we will merge it back together during our check-in meetings.
Okay. Thank you so much for explaining all this. I have a quick question. So, and right now, in the main branch, there is only IVR1 Yellow, right?
Yes.
I'm just curious why we need to keep the IVR1 Green VR here. Can we separate in different workspace? So in this way, we know that, okay, here, this workspace is IVR1 Yellow 2022.3.3 F1, and everything here is IVR1 Yellow. Yes, can we do this, or?
Like you said, workspace. We currently are doing that. We have two workspaces for IVR1, not in my computer. It's in your computer.
Yeah.
Not in the computer Dr. Bodzin is using. If Dr. Bodzin shares his screen, I'm going to stop sharing mine.
Which I'm probably not going to do, but Gian, if you look, we did that document under, I think it's in lab management folder.
Yeah.
We put the repositories and workspaces there.
I remember that we separate these into two sub workspace. One is IVR1 Yellow and the other is IVR1 Green, right?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull up that document on my computer. Yeah, so for workspaces on the local computer, yeah, there's one for IVR Green VR and one for IVR Yellow VR. So the workspaces are separate on both these computers. The reason we decided to put everything in the same repository was because we knew that Junior had made a lot of progress on his green version with stuff from the prologue and the epilogue and some of the, within the photospheres, some of the alignments and positionings of the different media features. And we decided to put them all together in one repository for the students to access so that they'd be able to work efficiently with this cherry picking to grab those components. And that's why we moved it all together in one repository. But in terms of workspaces, the workspace itself is separate.
Mm,
Yeah, the workspace is the copy we have in the computer. So in the lab, we have 2 copies for the same repository. And the repository we are using is IVR1 Yellow. If I update your question and you were wondering if we could separate in 2 individual repositories, yes, we can. And part of the answer Dr. Bodzin gave to you, we decided not to because it would be a lot of work for the students to be exporting from one repository to the one that they are working now, for them to catch up with the work I had finalized in IVR1. And also, I'm sorry, because when we are exporting from one repository to the other, it's not simple because we have to have the project structure all the same, all packages have to be the same version, like it's a lot of details. So we decided to avoid doing this, otherwise we might have created a new issue that could be like avoided, right? So for now, Dr. Bodzin and I thought that it's better to stay VR with VR. So IVR green and yellow VR are in the same repository, and IVR full version green and yellow PC are in the same version, same repository, because those projects, they share the same architecture and the same packages. So it's not going to be causing issues as long as we know where they are living, the branches are well labeled and stuff like that.
got it. Thank you, Junior. And one more question. So based on your demonstration that we know how to cherry pick from one branch one branch to the other in one repository, in one workspace.
There is no cherry picking from repositories.
Oh yeah, in one workspace. Can we cherry pick, or it's not cherry pick if we want to, like for example, to copy one folder in IVR1, IVR2 to the IVR1 folder. Is there a way?
Only without plastic. You have to export that folder as a Unity package and then open that package in the project you want to receive the folder.
Okay.
And if this is about a similar project, just like we have IVR1 green and yellow, that's terrible, because when we export outside the version control, outside plastic, we are creating an evil twin. We are adding another copy that already existed in the project, and then plastic starts complaining right away. So that's why it's always better to be able to follow the connections where things are coming from, because then plastic will never complain. They understand, like the software understands that it came from a similar version, that similar version branched into 2 versions or 5 versions, and then they were coming back to the original version, all updated. So
got it. Yeah. Thank you, Junior. I have no question.
Dr. Bodzin, for our next meeting, plastic meeting, that can also be recorded like that, Jayan and I have stumbled upon the need for using another advanced technique, which is shelving. Shelving in plastic is just like you are actually getting your notebook, your books, and putting into your shelf. You know where you saved your work, but that work is not finished. And you need to come back to grab that work to continue working on that. So shelving is a technique in plastic to allow us to handle pending changes or receive other updates without checking in our incomplete updates. So if we have anything that is incomplete, but we have done a lot of work, or if we forgot to check in and there is pending changes, we put those pending changes in a shelf. They disappear temporarily. Plastic remembers those files. Then we do whatever we need to do. And then we say, I want to retrieve my files from that shelf as pending changes. And then we put it back. So I'm just talking about that to introduce like for the next session, because this is something that we usually need much more often than the cherry picking, especially when we are like starting projects or onboarding new students.
Thank you for you mentioned that. Yeah, I think that's important. You pointed out.
Yeah, but this is for another video because we won't have time to cover that process here in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I took the notes and I'm sharing the document to both you and Dr. Walton.
Okay. All right, so we should take a look at it. I don't know, also, does it take a look here real quick? I guess what we should do on this document, I'm going to just add here and maybe, you know, task goal, what we're trying to do with this, right? This was duplicating. We were duplicating scenes from IVR yellow, cherry picking from IVR yellow to bring into IVR green, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So really what our students are going to be doing is kind of the opposite. They're going to cherry pick from IVR green to bring into IVR yellow.
Yeah. If they need, because I don't think they need anything like that. Because this conversation started yesterday, right? Yes. When Kavya thought that she needed to cherry pick the panels for data collection from IVR Green. And then I told her, like, that's not necessary because the data collection panels are totally different from IVR Green to IVR1 Yellow. What she needs to do is to merge or cherry pick the panels from the branch called Watershed Map.
Okay, and number 3, in Unity, you find the scene folder and duplicate the selected scenes, right?
Yes.
Scenes. Create and then
Then we create a new folder and we save those selected scene into this folder.
just gonna scenes yellow.
Then we check the project into plastic.
Number 5. Yeah, I'm just changing the tense for as instructions.
Okay.
Uh, And that was task import, right? For number 6.
For number 6, create a new branch to
Was that-
say, yeah.
Task import, right?
Mm,
That's the where it's going to get imported to, right?
sorry. What
correct?
task import?
What are you talking about?
All right, I'm in the document, the Unity session document that
I
Jian's
share the screen.
instructions. If you look at number 6, it says, I've been kind of editing this. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for sharing that, Gian. That way Junior can follow along here. You know, create a new branch, and that new branch is the one that says task import, right?
It depends because we actually created 2 branches, 2 task branches, one for exporting and one for importing.
Okay, I see that, and that's okay, and that's
So in green is import because it's going to be importing from yellow. And in yellow branch, it's task export because that's where we are exporting those files from.
okay. All right. All right. So you're going to create 2 new branches, right?
Create the other new branches. So we have already created a new branch. To create a test branch. That's the first branch. That's the branch 1, we can say. And to create the other new branches. That's the branch 2.
All right. So I guess based on what you just typed in there, overwriting me, I'm trying to. All right. So I see
So
that the branches actually got created all the way up in the first step, right?
either way,
All right, Colin.
Junior created a branch in the first step. He created both at the beginning. I'm just we can also create. So the reason we created this branch because we want to save the import. We want to save the chance.
Yeah. All right. So number 6. Sorry. So that's got to be. So really, I mean, to the instructions here to match what was here, is the first thing I'm looking at all the way at the very beginning, at the beginning of your document. Scroll to the top. So you duplicated this. Okay, 4 scenes. I guess my confusion with the instructions is the first thing that we did we created the task import branch and the task export branch is the first thing?
I think so.
I think so too, because I see that the first screenshot Jian has, and then she's saying, well, to create a task branch, right? So there's something not quite right with the instructions.
Yes, based on Junior's instruction, he does create the branch at the both branch, import and export at the beginning. I'm just because I did this screenshot and I think maybe it will be so based on what I understanding, I know it better to follow Junior's instruction. To mention that we can create both branch at the beginning, but it won't hurt anything if we move this step here. we can kind of like after we, oh,
The problem is you got that
I see, got
at
it.
the beginning where you've got the two branches already in the first picture. That's where the confusion is going to be with these instructions. So
I see. Okay, I can change it a little bit. So at first step we create, because I missed one screenshot. I only took the screenshot the export branch Junior created, and I did not take the screenshot on the import branch.
You can leave a placeholder if you want, because once the video is updated, you can go in the video and take a snapshot.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
all right.
However, that step 6 is not accurate because, like, wait,
Yeah,
it's not create another branch. We cannot create the branch there if we are checking in, right? Oh no, I see. Step 5 is the export. Step 6 is the beginning of the import. It's okay. Yeah, it works.
all right. Here's what I'm going to do, because again, I'm going to be cognizant of the time too. Gian, I would recommend go ahead through the video again.
Okay, I will fix that.
Yeah, and fix it. And then when you're done, I guess we should review it together at the next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Because right now it's just a little haphazard and a little confusing, but I think you're gonna just need to add the beginning screenshot from the video.
The good news is that it's almost done, and the video will allow us to complete the screenshots.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what we have to do is and where are you, this is in the drive somewhere? Where is this?
I'm going to save in our let me see. Do we have like a resource folder in
Yeah.
Google Drive?
Yeah, so there's in the team drive, there is a folder, it's called resources.
My drive.
Shared drive, Jayan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shared drive.
Shared drive. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then we have and if you go to then resources.
I see.
Yeah.
Unity, plastic.
Well, I think we put it where it says plastic SCM help, or we just create a new folder called cherry picking or something like that. Cherry picking with plastic. I don't know. What do you think, Junior? New folder, cherry picking?
Or a folder called plastic.
Well, we have one called,
there is a plastic SCM help.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's just put it in the plastic SCM help.
Okay, here.
Yeah. And then like I said, I think the students aren't going to be doing this till next week. Is that what we said? They're not going to be needing this for this week for their work.
Wait, can you ask that again?
All right. So last night in the meeting, it was said, oh, we're gonna create a document for cherry picking, right? We told them we were going to do this, which we're doing, right? Do they need this before we meet next week?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So I think I think we could do this asynchronously. So John, if you want to go ahead and just once you get the recording, the new screenshots, go ahead and work through the document again, and then let Junior and I know, and we'll take a pass and do editing with it.
Okay.
I think everything is pretty good with it. It was just the only thing that I see right now is it was just those two task branches to set up for task import, task export. And they just need to reflect the screenshots.
Okay, I will reflect, I will add the missing.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think I did some minor edits
of
up
three.
until 6, and that's where things just didn't make sense.
I think it's there.
So I'll just highlight number 6 for now, just to draw your attention to it, but it's probably gonna need to get changed.
Okay.
Do we need to schedule another meeting for this shelving? Another work session?
I don't think it's essential yet.
Okay,
We can take a break.
okay. All right then. So Junior, just out of curiosity, I don't know, you can go ahead and stop the recording.